What's good everybody, welcome back to part 2 of the Shaheen full crouch guide. In part 1 we went over the basics of opening up patient opponents by entering full crouch and mixing up Shaheen's slide with one of his big mids. In this episode, we'll explore options other than the basic mid-low mix-up that can make the full crouch mind game even scarier. Let's get right into it. To keep our opponents guessing and overwhelm them with options, firstly we can add Shaheen's new full crouch down forward 4 low into the mix. This low is +1 on hit with no stance and +4 on hit with the stance, which leads to huge pressure for less risk, given the slide can be floated. When hitting this low on your opponent, you can then follow up with an option from Shaheen's stealth step, or even cancel the stance back into crouch to loop the situation to continuously keep the opponent guessing on which mind game you're going to play. This is also especially strong at the wall, as it allows you to keep your opponent there without the side switch that the slide would give. The low also has a high second hit in full crouch down forward 4-1, which is only -2 on block. Whilst the second hit is a counter hit launcher that catches opponents trying to punish the first hit, and it can also catch opponents trying to step follow-up pressure, it is very risky to throw out often as it is easily ducked and launch punished, so just be careful with it. Another one of the trickier options we have to keep our opponent guessing is by doing the slide, but on a delay. Given your opponent can react to you crouching before you go for your mix-up, if your opponent does duck instantly in reaction to your crouch, you can delay your slide using the crouch walk by holding down forward before pressing the 3. You'll often find that if an opponent can duck your faster slide, they will often stand up again and get hit by this one. This option is super strong as it doesn't force us to commit to a mid and lose our turn when our opponent doesn't duck, and we can constantly go for lows that's really scary for the defender. Try crouch walking in your opponent's face to try and gauge when and how they like to duck, and experiment with different timings to hit your slide. If you find your opponent ducks on a specific timing, or they just want to commit to the duck no matter what, you can then add the mids for damage. Be warned that when you take more time to do your mix-up by delaying your slide, you are taking more time where you're not blocking, so you're more vulnerable to your opponent's attacks. Some opponents may also look for your crouch and then attack you, so taking your time on the slide opens you up to attacks like this as well. When Shaheen activates Heat, he gets access to even crazier options for the full crouch mind game. Firstly, Shaheen gets access to his Heat guard break in down up 2. To perform the move, Shaheen needs to be buffering a down input for around a second before pressing up 2. Fortunately for us, when we're crouch walking, we're always holding a down input. As a result, we can do a delayed full crouch mix-up, but instead of the slide, we can use the guard break. When the guard break connects, Shaheen can connect a move that is 13 frames startup or faster. Last video, we explained how the full crouch down forward 2 makes it hard for the opponent to justify ducking when their back's to the wall, given the risk for getting hit by it, and the fact the slide gets them out of wall pressure, so sometimes it's just good to take it. However, they aren't so lucky when it comes to the guard break, as when connected, it can be followed up with forward 2-3 into huge plus frames and more pressure. Be warned that as the guard break is a high, you can be launch punished when the opponent guesses correctly. Whilst the guard break may be a high, fortunately for us, Shaheen also gets access to a deadly mid to use in full crouch with Heat activated, his Heat Smash. As the Heat Smash can be performed from crouch, Shaheen can attempt a plus on block 50 damage mid to mix with the slide or guard break. On a stage with floor breaks, this also becomes a 50 damage launcher. The existence of this move makes it very difficult for the opponent to duck for the slide or guard break, so check your opponent's reaction to your full crouch when you have Heat activated and mix up from there. And that's going to be it for the second part of the Shaheen full crouch guide. A big thank you for all of the support on part 1, and to anyone who is keen on seeing more, I really appreciate it. Stay tuned for the third and final advanced portion of the guide, where we'll cover how to use full crouch movements to set things up in neutral. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.